All right, so we're live. Nobody's watching. We're going to give a couple minutes to come in.
Sure.
Actually, before we went live, Jared and I were talking about Star Trek because it's, of course, a passion of mine. I was showing off my ships in the background. As you guys come in, and I'll see if I can't type this in, just say hi, where you're located from. Feel free to ask questions of us. So I'm Sensei Mish, if I haven't said that already, which I probably haven't. Welcome to DojoChat. I'm here with Jerald Carter of what is it?
Carter's
Martial
Arts
Arts
or CMAI Karate.
Okay, and that's in Jacksonville, Florida. Awesome. So, Jared, why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself? Or tell them.
Tell them. From when I started martial arts and what have you?
Just a quick background, you know.
Sure. I've been doing martial arts pretty much my whole life. I started in Shotokan. That was the first style of karate that I started in with a man named Jerry Williamson with the Police Athletic League here in Jacksonville, Florida. Started with him and did that for a little over 5 years. Got my first black belt and was an avid tournament competitor. Then I was at a tournament one time here in Jacksonville competing, and then Grandmaster Jack Hogan came in with Professor Wally J, which and I knew a little bit about Wally J. Didn't really know so much about Jack. I'd heard about him, but Wally J, I mean, he was like a celebrity coming in. So he came in and the tournament stopped and he did a demonstration. It was amazing. And then Grandmaster Hogan was doing a little demonstration on pressure points and Kyusho in the corner, which I just happened to be at the right place at the right time as a 19-year-old kid, which I thought I knew everything about karate, man. I was just doing all this stuff. So, and he said, your knife hand block is not a block. And I'm sitting here thinking he'd lost his mind because my teacher told me that it was a block.
Right.
And that's all I've done for 6 years going through. And so he, since then he said, well, throw a punch. And I obliged him and got my first experience of a knockout when he hit lung 5 and stomach 5 and out I went. So I said, do that again. I jumped up, said, do it again. And like a crazy 19-year-old kid, I went to punch him again and found myself waking up a third time or third time back to back because I kept jumping in front of that train. And I figured he had something I didn't. And so I went back and asked him if I could come train with him. And he accepted me, which caused a little bit of rift, so to speak, but was since repaired from my first teacher. Right. And then I started training with him and I took my belt off. I said, I can't wear this in your school. And he made me wear my black belt. He said, you earned it. So I started training with him. And through that, I've met lots of different instructors, Wally J, Remy Prisus, just to name a few. I've been very blessed to have taught with him in Europe, England, and Ireland. And since branched out into meeting some of Taiko Oyata's people as well, and lots of different martial artists. So it's one thing I've always had a passion for. And as we were speaking prior to getting online, going live, I grew up. When I was born with a rare disease that deteriorated the femur of my left hip, which my parents didn't know till I was about 4 years old when I wasn't walking. Yeah. And so I had to go into major surgery and stuff. And they had to leave me in Greenville, South Carolina, because that was the closest children's hospital. So I'm sitting there. And then this is during the time in the 70s when black belt theaters were coming out, Bruce Lee and things like that. So, and my uncle did a little judo. And so I said, well, I want to do that. And they're like, oh, okay, yeah, that's cool. You can do that. And here I am, a crippled kid, but they never stopped. And so here it is years later. I went through and my mom was always terrified I was going to break my leg or something. My dad's like, hey, okay, come on, kid, let's go. And he says, let's see how you do. And the rest is history. I've been very blessed to have met a lot of people and trained with a lot of people and just try to pass on what I worked through and shared and gained what others have given me.
Right on. Well, we got a couple of people who are saying hi. We got Rob Ray.
Hi, Ray. What's up, buddy?
And then Cheryl Helms.
Cheryl, hi.
Yeah. And then Harvey. Yeah. So
Awesome.
Harvey and I are getting together in a couple weeks. So
yeah, he's awesome, man. It was really cool when we were in the early days going to the big 3 camps that we had, which I have that picture somewhere of you that I heard about from the last podcast that you did with Clay. And yeah, you're in there, man. It's a younger you and a younger Harvey, and then there's some of me where it's a younger me, and I'm sitting there looking. I'm like, wow, man. It's like, where does time go? You know, I sit there and look at it. But yeah, Harvey is great people, man. Rob, I mean, all the guys in our organization that we have, I mean, just phenomenal people.
Yeah, no, it's you know, like I said in my last in the last podcast, or the last chat I had with Clay, you know, my wife was like, you know, those Hogan guys, they were just, you know, he says those are the people you need to start hanging out with. Yeah. So yeah, no, yeah. I've warm, you know, family and welcoming. So
that's the way he was with me. I mean, I came in and one of the hardest things for me, Mish, was because my first teacher didn't have this knowledge, and there's no disrespect or discounting anything. It's just, he didn't get it. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't given him. His teacher didn't have it.
Right.
And, you know, a lot of us didn't have it. Nobody did, you know?
Yeah.
And then when Jack came out with this, I mean, I went to go study with him, and it was one of the hardest things to me, leaving somebody through path and then going through and then training with Jack. And Jack was like a father to me. I mean, he really, and same thing as my first teacher, because they were both very strong mentors in my life going through and helping me form me of who I am now. And, and there were some times, man, when Jack, I would do something stupid, you know, I'd jump on that stupid train or jump in front of it. And he said, all right, come here. And that right in the seminar, he'd just give me a look and he'd be like, hey, come here. And then, you know, like, oh man, here we go. Or he'd give me a call and I could still hear him says, Jerald Hogan. and just getting the call. And you're like, all right, what happened now? But I tell you, it was just really it was an honor to have him as that teacher and mentor. And then when he promoted me up, when I got my 4th dan at the time, I just got my master's rank with Jack. I went to a tournament and I saw my first teacher, and we, you know, like I said, we maintained friendship, you know, and I went up and I bowed to him and I said, I want to thank you for taking a chance on a kid many years ago and putting me on the path. I said, because of that, I said, your teachings, I said, you're never going to be forgotten. I said, your legacy is going to continue on like my teachers through me. And he told me, he said, well, I'm a good basics instructor. And
right. I don't, hey,
said, with all due respect,
I don't want to interrupt.
Good instructor.
Okay. I don't want to interrupt you. Just to let you know, your video's coming in a little bit choppy. So
you're a good instructor. I said, look at the people that did I lose you? But there you go. I lost you for a second.
Yeah, it's the video's coming in a little bit choppy. It's okay. So
are we good?
Yeah, at least for right now.
Right now.
There you go. You're frozen again.
Uh-oh.
It's okay. But you were saying you're talking about how you ran into your instructor and you basically thanked him for putting you on the path that yeah.
Absolutely. And I think that's important to remember where you come from and remember who your mentors are in that. So that's I had to thank him for that.
Awesome. Let's see, Teresa Dover.
Oh, that's my mom. Oh my Lord.
Is that your mom? Hi,
Mom.
That's
my mom. Hello, Mom.
That's awesome.
How did she get a hold of this thing, man?
I don't know. Does she stalk you on Facebook?
My mom stalks me on Facebook, YouTube. My mom stalks me on everything. It's funny. Yeah, I love my mom. She's been my biggest supporter as well, man. So yeah, she came. A funny story about my mom. She'll probably kill me for saying this, but I was actually fighting in a tournament. I was in the men's heavyweight black belt. And again, I was a young kid, and I'm fighting this guy for the grand championship, and he does an axe kick, and I move, and he hits me in my hip, and I drop.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I drop, and I'm hobbling out of the ring for a minute, and my mom comes from the top of the rafters and starts coming down, and I'm having to grab her. I'm like, get out of the ring, go. And I'm sitting here looking like, oh my, so I wound up winning, so to speak, and I said, are you crazy? And so, yeah, she was getting ready to jump in the ring, so it was kind of a funny story, but yeah, that's my
hilarious.
Mom. Yeah.
So, my parents didn't let me train until I was basically an adult. I would get hurt. I did have the choice of judo because my step uncle, he was a judo player, but I didn't want to roll around on the ground. I wanted to hit people. So, so my parents were like, nope, you're going to get hurt. So, so when I started, I think it was my first or second Taekwondo tournament, and my mom shows up, and she's like, I have to pay to get into this. Now, I love my mom. She's very supportive person, but she was used to soccer, like going to see, my sister and I played soccer when I was much younger. And so you don't have to pay. You just show up to the field and you watch. And she goes, I have to pay. I was like, Mom, it's $5. I'll pay. Like,
yeah, I never got that. I was usually out on the floor, but then, man, but it's so funny at that instance. My I think one of my aunts was with her, and so she's grabbing her, saying, "Get back, get back." He said, "What are you doing?" So trying to grab her, come with it. It was so funny, but yeah, stories you have, through your martial arts life.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, your mom's is very proud mom of my son. Worked very hard too.
Yeah.
So
she's funny.
Yeah. Let's see. So one of the things that sparked this conversation was, you had reached out to me about, you had posted something on the interwebs about, dealing with those keyboard warriors, or, the people that just, and so you're like, oh, hey, your name came up. I've heard that, that
actually it was through Johnny Quest, as a matter of fact, who,
oh, really?
Yeah. I talk to Johnny Quest every morning. Johnny's like one of my buds, and every morning at 6 a.m. while I'm sweeping up at UPS, he's getting ready to go to work. So we have our own little dojo chat, if you will, every morning religiously. Tomorrow morning, as a matter of fact, we will have it at 6 a.m. Well, I'm there at 3, but he calls me at 6. But he had mentioned that. I said, hey, I got this. He said, you should reach out to Mish. So that's what sparked me to contact you.
Well, thank you, Johnny. I appreciate it. For me, it's one of the topics that, I don't know. I was bullied as a kid. I want to say like most people, because there's a lot of people that just was like, I wasn't bullied. No, you were probably bullied. You just didn't know it. Or you had this, what is it? Skills is more of a generic word. But anyway, you knew how to work through it, and it just didn't really affect you. Right. But for me, my parents split up when I was younger. I'm living in 2 different homes. So I was that, even though I lived in the neighborhood I grew up in is kind of, out here, we call it the Southwest Hills, but it's kind of a richer neighborhood. But, everybody had their moms and dads and all that kind of stuff. And so, I was
it's hard. I mean, I did the same way. I go the same way. My parents split when I was younger.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I was in the hospital when my parents split.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that was kind of rough.
Yeah. So, it was one of those, and, I'm sensitive child,
Yep.
I don't remember crying at the top of or at the drop of a hat. My middle son did that. But he's much better now. But it's one of those where, it's hard to have those coping skills to deal with that.
Yes.
And I think, once I got old enough to start training on my own, and I, got into Taekwondo, and then I was later introduced to pressure points and Ruku Kempo, um, and it was through this where it kind of gave me some self-confidence that, even though it was more physical, it was, if I get beat up on, I can defend myself. I feel, right. And gave me, and even, I put out a video. I can't remember what episode it was. I started a journey series. But I talk about, and I actually go through this, and I talk about being bullied and all that kind of stuff. And I actually use a recent example of this guy who reached out to me on Instagram and was basically just kind of going back and forth. And so I was like, so I put the guy on blast and went through the entire conversation, what was going through my mind. But, even as an adult, I find, there are those weak times, and it's just like, how do you deal with it? And so I've kind of created my own, I have to pull from different areas. I was a bouncer, and so you get those, those guys who want to fight. And so, sarcasm,
I can relate, man. Did that too, buddy. Yeah.
I've been a big guy most of my adult life. I have lost a lot of weight in the last year, but still it's a struggle for me. And so, you get that, and especially with Kyusho guys. And I made a joke to Jim Korn about this in April. And I was like, yeah, I said, why is it all the fat Kyusho instructors that get all the shit? I mean, it's bad enough we're doing Kyusho, but why do we always have to be fat?
It's crazy, man. It seems like that's the one thing. And with a lot of these guys that will do this, I think it makes themselves feel really good. It's like, hey, I can pick on this because I don't know what they know.
Right.
Okay. I don't know what they know. So, hey, I'm going to pick on their weight, or I'm going to pick on how they perform their kata, or how they do that. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And if you stop and look, and, I guess they think that martial arts are only for the most physically fit or what have you, or the body beautiful guys going in, which martial arts is for everybody.
Absolutely.
It's for everybody. And I saw a guy one time competing in a tournament at the US Open, and I don't know what condition this gentleman had, but it looks maybe would have to say maybe like cerebral palsy or something, but he was confined to a chair, and he got out, wheeled out by himself, and he would put knives in his feet and perform a weapons kata with his feet.
Wicked. That's wicked.
It was wicked cool. It was wicked cool. And I'm sitting here thinking, that's impressive. So for somebody to, and Young Smith, who I believe you interviewed before.
Yeah.
I just saw him today. He had students. He had one that was amazing, Rodney. And Rodney was blind and I think partially deaf, or not, or hard of hearing.
Okay.
But he was able to do martial arts as well. So for people to say that it's only for certain ones, or to pick on people because of their size, or they don't get a chance to know. That's my buddy Sean. He's dialing in.
Yeah.
That's the guy whose birthday we're actually going to go to today.
Oh, sweet. Well, happy birthday, Sean.
Thanks, buddy. So, but the thing is, man, the way I look at it is, if people, if you come to me and say, okay, I disagree with your technique. Okay, that's an open line of communication then. Okay, well, why do you not like it? What about it do you not like? Well, I don't think it'll work. Okay. Do you have something to counteract that can show me what you think it would be? You see what I'm saying? To me, that way we can have an open line of dialogue. And it doesn't mean at the end of the dialogue that I'm going to agree with you or you're going to agree with me. But the lines of communication are open to where we can talk together as human beings and maybe fellow martial artists and practitioners, to where if we don't agree, we can agree to disagree, but we don't have to tear each other down or take jabs at somebody, how they look or what they wear or their kata. What, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so that's my aspect. And it goes back to, judging a book by the cover going through.
Right.
And that's one of the things that, you see people and you would have a preconceived notion that, okay, well, this guy's coming in. He's really old, you know. And Wally J would walk you around the room and would just smoke you. I've been on the receiving end of it, and I'm sure you have as well. Same thing, Remy, when you would see Professor come in, and that was one person that scared me half to death the first time I saw him. I had sticks. I had no idea what we were going to do, and then I saw him go beat Bruce around, throw Bruce around like a rented mule. And I dropped the sticks. I said, "No, sir, nope." I stood against the wall. Sticks were down by the feet and everything. But the thing is, these guys are up in age, and they're moving like lightning.
Right.
And Remy with sticks. I mean, it was amazing to see. So it goes back to what I say, judging that book by its cover, man. If you take the time to say, all right, I disagree with this. I don't think it'll work. I don't understand it, what have you. Then we can talk and communicate and go from there. But the cheap shots is kind of like, really low hanging fruit, man. Is that all you got?
Yeah. And, I find that, and I don't want to single out an art, but I find that most of the detractors, especially for Q Show, because I've got that Q Show Corner, show. Mm-hmm. Most of the detractors and the people that, basically call it, say that it's bullshitto or it's fake. Yes. They're from Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Really?
I find that's, and I don't know why. Now, I could point.
I have a theory.
Okay. I could point my finger at McDojo Life.
Yep.
I don't know if that's your theory, but I know I don't know a lot about Rob's history, and I keep on talking about what is it called? I lost my thought there, but when it comes, so I keep on talking about wanting to have him on the show, but I have not reached out to actually ask. So that's right on me, but because I think we'd have a good conversation, because he and I have had conversations in the past online, but I think it's these people, so I don't know Rob's history, but I know he does, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu now. He throws chucks like anybody. I couldn't do that. Very impressive. Yeah. But I think it's wannabes. That, because he goes, if you look at what he's trying to do, I totally understand the whole McDojo stuff. Right. I'm anti McDojo. I want people to go out there and learn how to, be, I want them to become stronger and have, better self-worth and all that kind of stuff, and be able to defend themselves. That's all about that all feeds into my why. I want people to be able to save themselves, be safe. And there are those McDojos out there that are just teaching BS. But I think that people who want to be like McDojo are taking it way too far.
Right.
Because when Rob originally reached out to me, and he, through Instagram, and he says, "Hey, do you really believe that this works?" And I was like, "Yeah, I wouldn't be teaching the classes or doing stuff if I didn't." And so, we had this chat, and we basically talked about my thoughts on Q Show and no touch and all the different controversial stuff that goes along with it. And we actually had a very intelligent conversation, and never did he dog on me. It was, he was very curious, and, now he is making a McDojo Life documentary that I did support. I did support his his Kickstarter, but and then he asked me if I wanted to be in it, but I haven't heard anything from him. So, but it is what it is. Jim Korn, actually. Hey, Jim, how you doing? Jim Korn is chiming in. I have fought negativity of one kind or another since I started in karate in 1969. Yeah. Man, we all get it. Yeah. And he's amazing, by the way. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I said, he's amazing, by the way. I remember him, like I said, as that 19-year-old kid when I first met Jack, going in and seeing seeing him and a few of the other, high ranking grandmasters and stuff, man. And it was like looking at rock stars. It really was. Cause I'm like, wow, these guys are doing. And one thing for me, I was always real big on kata. That was my thing. I love kata. I love doing it, love breaking it down. And that's how, when you show your knife hand block, when Grandmaster Hogan did his knife hand block that knocked me out with, I started putting that in every one of my kata moves. And I said, okay, what else? And that's what lit the fire. So for me, everything of how to break the moves down and how to put it in a practical application of what it is. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So, but I think to the point of, maybe, and again, this is my idea. I'm not saying I'm 100% right. Guys that do the BJJ, I've met some really phenomenal, nice people.
Oh, absolutely.
That do BJJ, but I think a lot of the guys that do like UFC or think about cage fighting and stuff, that wouldn't work in a UFC. Well, I'm not trying to go for UFC.
Right. And
so
actually, I believe after it's like I don't know, number 1, 2, or 3. Actually, I think after the second or third one, they actually came out with rules, no pressure points. Because I remember when that started, everyone was like, "Hey, Dillman, are you going to go in there?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "No, it's actually against the rules."
Well, I think also the Dog Brothers were like, "Thank you, but no thank you," because they send them stuff. But again, that's one of the stories that I heard. But I think one of the things with the UFC and guys that do like MMA type stuff, that wouldn't work in a ring. True. I said, but you got guys like Kimbo Slice. I mean, he never lost a match until he started getting in MMA where they have rules.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So when you got rules, when rules come into play, totally different aspect, totally different animal. But if it's you protecting your family, protecting your wife, protecting your kids, your home, there are no rules. Rules go out the window. You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So, and it has to be quick. It has to be effective, and a lot of things. I happened to see a guy. We used to have this place called the Jacksonville Landing years ago. Had a lot of nightclubs in there and stuff like this. It was on the St. John downtown on the river. Big concert venue type stuff. Anyhow. Well, I'm down there. I think it was around the 4th of July or New Year's, big party, crowd of people. Guys were fighting, and one of the security guys takes a guy down, and he's just doing a half guard on him. Okay. Well, here's the thing. His buddies start attacking this guy going through. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
So that's what I look at. It's like, versus taking the guy instead of trying to take him down, take him out, escort him out, and stay upright. But I think that you need to know how to work on the ground. I think you need to know how to work standing up. And there's pros and cons for both, for all.
Yeah.
But you got to be able to, if you don't know anything at all, then, at least train something going through. But to go circle back to where we were talking with the negative comments, to say that this doesn't work or that doesn't, it's like, okay, well, let's come to some terms to where, in what retrospect, will it not work?
Right.
Tournament, yeah, it won't work in a tournament. You can't do it in a tournament. Will it work on the street? Maybe, maybe not. Possibly. What dynamics do you have for the technique that we're in discussion with?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I don't know. I hate to point out that one group, but at least in my personal experience, it's always from that group. Now I'll admit, and my mind is slowly changing, because I always say every art has a purpose. Absolutely. And I am kind of hypocritical because I dog on Taekwondo all the time. In fact, I have this shirt that says from what is it? The Last Jedi. It says, the Jedi must end. And I had come up with this design that said Taekwondo should end.
Wow. That's harsh.
So I dog on it, but
wow.
But in reality, I'm wrong. All martial arts do have they have a purpose. you know? And yeah, I may have started in Taekwondo, but I sure as hell couldn't fight in the Olympics.
No, are you
You
kidding
know?
me? I mean,
And
I'll
so,
watch some. Yeah, I was gonna say I'll watch some of those guys do. I want to say it's World Taekwondo Federation. I could be wrong because I'm not too familiar with.
well, I think the
Well,
two primary ones are
they do continuous
WTF
sparring.
and ITF.
Whichever one that they do, like the continuous sparring, and these guys were
Oh, okay.
taking each other's head off, man.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, holy smokes! And they were throwing roundhouse kicks like it was nothing, and that
Right.
was impressive to see. And then when they would land, they would go low and then go up high and then hook kick the guy. I mean, and then they would
Right.
jump, flip roundhouse kick, and I was like, holy smokes! And if you get kicked by one of these guys, yeah, it's going to hurt. It's going to take your head off your shoulders.
Oh yeah.
And so, yeah, everybody. So to your point, yeah, every martial arts has validity. And there's something for everybody. You see what I'm saying? I mean,
Yeah.
you find your niche, you find what works for you, and then you expand from there. I mean, if you just do have like one flavor ice cream, for example, or whatever you want to use, and that's or you have like one pizza topping, that's all you eat, and that's all you know. And then all of a sudden, when people say, "Hey, why don't you put pepperoni on there? Why don't you do this or do that?" You see what I'm saying? Sorry to put it as a food reference, kind of funny in the context, but you get the idea.
I get dogged on for putting pineapple on my pepperoni pizza.
Really?
So all of you anti-pineapple people, you know what? You can screw off. It's really good. It's spicy and it's sweet, all at the same time.
Hey, man. Hey, whatever rings your bell, man. There you go.
Hey. Well, at the same time, going out to long before I was married, I was dating some girl. We go out to a pizza place, and she asked for ranch on the side, and I was like, ranch and pizza? She's like, trust me, you're gonna love this. And so she takes out dips it in there. Yeah, now not my first choice, but it was good.
I'd have to take your word for it. I don't eat mayo, so there you go.
Yeah, so it was really good. Now, not something that I would. That's not my first choice to do as a dip, because I just pick up the pizza and eat it. Yeah, but it's not a bad combination. But here's the thing: I wouldn't have known that if I hadn't tried it.
Yeah, and
we hadn't had that conversation, and I'd probably be dogging people for like, who fucking puts ranch with their
on pizza,
especially pepperoni pizza. It's like, no, actually, it's surprisingly good.
Yeah.
So it's like
people use blue cheese, man, and they're just
I love blue cheese on burgers, not on pizza.
I like the crumbles on burgers, but yeah, as far if it's in the sauce form, I'm like, nope, I have to give it a hard pass. So, but looking at it from a guy from a bigger guy going in, and because contrary to popular belief, I do work out. I have a personal trainer that I work with, and I lift heavy weights. So we do like a lot of power. We do conditioning and stuff as well. But the fact that I enjoy food. I got married. I got lazy for a while. I'll tell you that. I mean, life happens.
Oh, absolutely. I'm right there. I always joke that this is baby fat.
Yes. Baby one, baby two, baby
my
three.
oldest is 24 and my youngest is 15. So yeah, this is.
Yeah. Well, I can't say baby fat because we only have one. So, but I say, well, all the stress is like, put it on there. But the thing is, man, because I used to do and still do competitive dancing. A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah, actually, Harvey just put in there.
Jerald
was a great dancer too. And I think somebody had posted. Let me go back through here. Somebody else had said, "Oh yeah, Rob Ray, and an amazing dancer." I'm wondering if that's related to something earlier. Yeah.
Yeah. So I did competitive ballroom Latin and swing dancing for probably 15 years. Some of the awards I have is on the back wall here.
Okay.
But I did that, and I do West Coast swing dancing now. And one thing that people will tell me is like, man, you move very good for a big man.
Yeah.
They say because they just don't expect it. They don't expect it. And that's the thing. I mean, going back to, judging people by what you see versus the content of what they speak and what they show.
Right.
You know, and that's the whole thing of it going in, you know. So it, yeah, man, it's, I've had that time or two, but when I actually sit down and have a conversation like we are now, people are like, wow, you know, they really come away with some stuff, or I'll come away with stuff like, I never would have thought that this would have went in this direction with a conversation and gain knowledge from it as well. And then I've wound up having good friendships with it for the years, you know?
Yeah. Well, you know, when I first started Q Show Corner and putting stuff online, even as an adult, I think it's been, I don't know, it's been almost 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost 7 years, about 6.5 years. So, you know, I get those, this is BS, this is all that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah.
And
Cheetos left and right, dude.
I don't know, like, I always thought of myself as that person who, you know, I'm strong-willed. I've got self-confidence. You know, I feel I'm somebody who I'm an introvert that taught myself to be an extrovert, that type of stuff. But I was getting these negative comments, and for some reason, don't know why, it was, I mean, like it was hitting hard.
Yeah. It pushes your buttons, man. Well, you're a human being. I mean,
yeah. And so it took me it took me longer than I expected to kind of, like, I had to constantly repeat to myself that this person doesn't know who I am.
That's right.
They probably have never seen, they've probably never seen Q Show, or they've always seen negative Q Show. Maybe they watched the, and, you know, not to dog on Sensei Dillman, but the National Geographic episode didn't help any of us at all. So,
and they play, let me tell you, I'm sorry, man, to interject.
Yeah, no, that's okay.
They put that up there big time. There was a guy,
huge.
That's the first thing. And I'm going to tell you something, man. I've been hit by him, dude. And yeah, let him hit you one time and see.
Oh no, I've had George hit me.
Yeah. So you know what I'm talking about, dude. It's like a Mack truck hitting you, man. And then you go, and then he's hitting it on pressure points too. So there you go.
Right.
And there's another guy I happened to see, for whatever reason, the algorithm put up this other guy's thing, and his whole thing is, I forget, the something TV or something, but anyhow, he goes and shows a lot of videos. He just pulls videos off the internet and puts them in a podcast or a video cast.
Oh, I think I know who you're talking about. I can't remember the name, but I remember.
What's that?
I can't remember the name, but I think I know who you're talking about.
But he trashes everybody. I don't even think he trains, but he talks about a lot of stuff and shows different, like top 10 fake martial arts or whatever come through. And he's got hundreds of thousands of people signing through with it, right? But the weird thing is, this last one, he showed a clip of Tony Kahunen. Are you familiar with him?
No,
Finland. He does
okay.
Kyusho Aiki Jiu-Jitsu from Finland.
Okay.
And I had a chance to, when we went to Europe, he went with us way back when with Jack. And he did a knockout on me because I was asking him about a Riemann Nagi from Aikido, where you enter in and you go through, you know, like Steven Seagal would do.
Yeah.
And so he went in, and when he it looks like, honest to God, it looked like he touched me, but it was a strike. And man, I was gone. And there was no faking it. I mean, I locked, and dude, I felt like a tree. And they slammed him because a lot of stuff, it doesn't look real.
Yeah.
It doesn't look real, but I know for a fact it is because I've been on the receiving end of it, and they're not faking it. I mean, he's actually, but it's just such a touch when he, with this man, that it's amazing. So if you get a chance to look him up.
Okay.
Really phenomenal with this Q Show.
What's his name again? Tony
Kahunen. I think is.
I actually think I'm Facebook friends with him.
Yes.
It just clicked.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. But like I said, I've been on receiving him, and you know, people like Grandmaster Corn, you know, been on receiving him, Jack Hogan. I mean, Mark Klein. all these guys who are pioneers in what we do now and what we're passing on. And there's no faking that, man. There's no, you're not gonna, I mean, to reference one of Grandmaster Corn's videos he does is like Awesome Arm Attacks. And if you haven't seen it, it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. I mean, just when people launch off, man, he's just destroying the arm. Everybody's using, what they give you coming in. And you can't deny that. You can't deny that it works. You can't deny. And if people do that, to me, it shows that you don't really know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. There's, let's see. Tommy. Anyone who speaks negatively about this art form doesn't know what it is to experience it. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right.
Rob, unfortunately, people cannot understand the difference between feedback and insults. They don't know something. They choose to live in ignorance instead of learning something new.
That's true.
Again, pain makes believers.
You got that right.
Amen, brother.
Yes, sir. Professor said it best. Pain makes believers. Another thing that Professor Wally, I loved him, man. It was amazing. He said, pain makes believers and questions are free, answers cost. And usually it costs with the pain coming through. So it's kind of funny, since we're on this subject, that at first I was kind of taken back after we had talked, and I've since gotten a lot more.
Okay.
But I started finding people actually subscribing to my channel.
Okay.
Out of the blue. And then sometimes like, hey, and giving me good positive feedback. But I started, I guess it's kind of like a weird game now to see where I could get insults or whatever from whatever country. So far I've got 2 Latin countries, or 2 in Spanish, 1 in French, 1 in Portuguese, 1 in German. And the latest one was in Russian, which I wasn't even going to try to translate that.
Right.
Just to see.
Right.
But it was kind of funny to see some of this stuff going in. But as much as I've gotten negative, I've actually gotten positive ones back. And one guy who commented on yours, one of yours, I forget which video it was. I think it was on the Vulcan neck pinch that you did, the spot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I did one about 7 years ago, and then I put up a series
2 and 3.
There's basically, I came up with 4 different techniques. By the way,
well, he commented on
buy that stuff. Anyway, shameless plug.
Shameless plug. Yes, check it out. So actually, I was looking at it again today. So it's really good stuff, man. But he commented on it, and so this guy, I won't put his real name out, but he had messaged me, and he's from Texas.
Okay.
And so we started communicating, and he's been real supportive on my channel on the techniques that I do and stuff. And we actually opened up a dialogue communications, and we had our first video class today.
Awesome.
Yeah. So it's really cool. So I told him we'll start making time coming in, and we had that dialogue of breaking down Saison today is what we went through. And he showed me his version, and they're almost identical to one of the ones that I do.
Okay.
And he gave me his interpretation. I said, well, let me give you some food for thought. Instead of saying, hey, man, you're completely wrong. It's not. No, I said, let me give you some food for thought. And I saw where he was going with. I'm like, I didn't think about that before. But it gave me some things to chew on as well. And it was a good communications going in. And like I said, man, when you close your mind, and this is just my viewpoint on it for what it's worth, if you close your mind and you don't open up to what others have, and they might have different life experiences than you. You might have different, different experiences in combat. Somebody who had been in a war has different life experiences than myself. I've never been in a war. You see what I'm saying? Right. So their views on combat will be completely different than mine, or self-defense or life protection, you see, versus tournaments, where I did tournaments, versus reality. And but if you close your mind to anybody's thoughts, then you limit yourself. You hinder yourself, in my opinion. And again, just my 2 cents.
Yeah, well, it's a good 2 cents. I mean, that's, I don't know. So I had brought this up offline. that I wanted to talk about, because this comes into, those keyboard warriors and, talking shit about stuff that they don't know.
Right.
We have this amazing Olympian by the name of Simone Biles.
Oh yeah,
and
dude. She's
I'm probably butchering her name because I do that, but I'm sorry. I don't care if she stepped down or why. She's amazing. And my whole standpoint is that, and her thing for the whole mental health thing, I fully support it. I fully support it. To listen to some of the detractors, not a guy I follow, but he is associated with Ben Shapiro. And honestly, I know Ben talks about her, but I got tired of listening to all the bullshit.
Right.
I think this is the most I've ever sworn on here, but that's okay.
Leave it to my.
I have a potty mouth in reality. So, but one of the guys that works with him, he does his own commentary on it, and he admits he doesn't watch the Olympics. He admits that he didn't even know who she was until the media got out there and was like, "Oh, hey, by the way, she stepped down," and talked about how she was weak and how being a high level competitor, she should know that she should, step up. And it's like, no, it's like, you already admit that you don't watch. So why would you care? So why would you even talk about it? You're talking about it because there's other people that agree with you. Yes. And you're doing it for views, which in my opinion, man. That's wrong. That's just unethical. I put shit out there because I want people to learn.
And it's,
like my stuff,
not only that,
watch something else.
But not only that, but you make it engaging too.
Yeah.
And if you think about it like this, man, the stress level that these competitors are going, they're representing the United States or their respective countries.
Yeah.
The stress level is super high. And for them to be able to get out there and your body, if you don't feel like, hey, I cannot perform or meet that need, versus going out and either getting injured or making a bad performance, to step down, I think that's an honorable thing, man. And the thing is, for people that trash her, it's like, are you in the Olympics? Are you there?
There you go.
No.
Can you do that? My standpoint is, if you can do what she does, then you can dog on her.
Absolutely.
But until you can prove to me that you can do that, there's nothing to say. And in fact,
balance beam. Let's see what happens.
Yeah. So my one of my favorite authors, Steve Perry, he was very kind and did a podcast with me a couple episodes ago. He had posted on Facebook. He said Simone Biles. He says, oh shoot, I can't even. Basically, it was like, none of my business, none of yours, nothing to say.
There you go.
It's her business. It's her reasoning. And, and that's true. That's right. Here's the thing. The way I look at it is that how many times, you work out, you've got a trainer. Right. How many times over the bazillion of years that we've been martial artists, have you overdone it mentally or physically?
Oh my!
And you're paying for it.
Oh yeah.
You pay for it the next day or even a week, month, whatever injury you have. Mm-hmm. And it's like, if you have the guts to be like, you know what, if I don't stop, I will be injured.
Yep. It's prime example, man. I went, and that brings up a point when I was competing. I gotten injured in the dojo a couple weeks prior to competition.
Right.
I got clipped with a heel jump spinning back kick. Heel landed right in my jaw and drove my head into a wall. Well, I'm thinking, all right, I'm gonna be getting back coming through, a little sore. First time I get popped in the head, man, I dropped and I get back up and it's like my head's in a fish tank. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, something ain't right. Something's not right. So I called time. I said, And I stepped out of the ring, and he said, "Are you all right?" And I said, "No." I said, "Give him the match." I said, and because I knew a plastic trophy is not, it's not worth it. So yeah, I bowed out of that because I knew that if I went in there and continued fighting, I could have probably pushed through it, but at what cost?
Absolutely. And you know what? Everyone's like, "Oh, well, she owes us a medal and all that kind of stuff." You know what?
Don't owe
it's
you
actually
nothing.
Not real gold anyway. And she doesn't owe you crap. And you know what? So, and I don't know how it's funded that these people go over there. And, I'm sure that they get some type of government tax money, but you know what? We've already given out a whole bunch of tax money. We're paying for it anyway. I mean, who cares?
And the thing is, man, there's reasons they have alternates. There's reasons that they have other people going in.
Exactly.
Where if somebody gets hurt, that's why they call it an Olympic team. Yeah. Together, everyone achieves more.
And you don't hear any one of her teammates coming out and dogging her. They all were very supportive.
And she's been there to support them to continue on the quest for the gold.
Absolutely. So I got to give a shout out to Young. He's, I don't know if he's been with us from the beginning, but he's saying howdy. So we talked about you, Young. I don't know if you heard it, but it was all good things.
Yeah, buddy. It was good.
I don't know. I just, when it comes to detractors towards me, I like you said, you're turning it into a game. How many can I,
how many countries?
How many negative comments can I get from different countries? I'm going to just, mark, I'm going to put a pin in every country I get.
And every one that I see.
That's awesome. I turned it, my game is I just start messing with them, cause the last one the last big one was the Instagram one. He reached out to me through, he DM'd me. And so the conversation started off just like, "Hey, I want to train with you." And then he started like, "Well, do you have to be fat to be a black belt?" And I'm like, "Yeah, okay, you're a dick."
Yeah.
But I didn't
know what it helps.
Like nobody. So, Brandon Beliso, he has this term. It's like, it's 3 words. It's like, delete, block, and something or other. I can't. When he said it, I automatically went Q show. Like I can totally turn that into a Q show response. But, and so he, he's just like, I don't give him any time of day. It's like, I'm a cat guy. This is a mouse and I'm going to play with him.
I want to play with it.
I want to see how far this guy will go. And I put myself in this mindset that he doesn't know who I am and therefore it doesn't matter. And I just play. I mean, we had this conversation. He was doing all sorts of stuff. And then he said something about, he gave me some, I started getting sarcastic because he had said something about doing something. I said, "Well, your mom didn't complain the other day."
Oh man, you brought mom into the
I totally brought mom into it. and so like there wasn't a response for like an hour. And then he comments back. He goes, okay, that was a good one. So really this, he's still trying to insult me, but I'm just like, dude, really?
Yeah.
Like, I don't care, and so, and that's kind of where I go. I just kind of start playing with them. And there's some where it's like, I realize I could probably play with this guy and win, right. And then there's others where it's just like, nah, there's no point. There's no point in doing it. Like
the one comment I think was, it's like, what do you got a black belt in eating KFC? It's like, no, I prefer Popeye's extra crispy, spicy on top of it. But
that's a great response. I love it.
And it's like, I said, give me some red beans and rice and we're golden. So there you go. But
you froze again.
Oh, we're good.
Okay. Yeah, I got you back.
All right, cool. I'm back.
It happens.
I move fast, man, for a big man.
Awesome.
So fast that it freezes the camera.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So, I think when it comes to, and that's why I did the journey episode. That's why I think this is a great topic to talk about because,
it is.
It's like, and I don't know if there's a program out there, like, there's all these anti-bully programs. And a lot of them, I think, one I actually looked into, I think the best anti-bully program, and I don't know anything about Clay's. Clay.
His is really good.
His is really good. I've heard.
Yeah.
He was, and so I'm very interested, but I don't know anything about it, so I can't say anything about it. I'd probably say good things anyway because I like Clay, and it probably turned out well. And yeah, so, but the one that I do know, it was put together by Dave Kovar and friends.
Okay.
It's pretty good program. A lot of the anti-bully programs out there have it's like, well, we have to think about what the other person is going through. And it's like, okay, I get empathy. I totally understand it. People, I never really thought I was empathetic, but I get people to be like, yeah, that was a really empathetic comment. I'm like, oh shit. What am I doing wrong?
I wasn't going for that, but okay.
But it's one of those that, in the moment, if you're bullying me, I don't care if your dad beats you.
Absolutely.
Like, I'm sorry for you that your dad beats you, but I don't care.
Right. You came to me. I didn't come to you.
You're taking your anger out on me. Like, go beat up a bag. I know you're trying. And like for me as an adult, I can think that way. For kids, I don't know. But a lot of the programs out there really push the empathy. Oh, well, if you're being bullied, you have to think about why they're doing it. No, you don't.
No, you don't.
I don't care. I really don't care. And so like for my students, I've always said that. I don't have any kid students right now, but when I did, it's like, yes, we should love everybody and show empathy and be kind to your fellow man. I totally believe that. But if somebody is, beating you up, fight back and win.
Absolutely. And
we can talk about his
feelings later. He's feeling the lumps on his head right now. That's what he's feeling.
Exactly.
So when all this stuff started going down, I addressed it and I said, this is something that would be an important topic for my students going through. So in my kids class, we worked out one day and I had them sit down at the end and, last 10, 15 minutes of class. Yeah. And I started asking them, I said, what do you want to be when you grow up? What do you want to be? Doctors. I want to be a karate instructor. I said, well, I said, make sure you have a backup job. So I said, karate instructor is good, but have a backup job too. So you can do karate. But a lot of them said they want to be doctors, lawyers, nurses, lots of them want to be military. I said, all that stuff is great. I said, but here's one thing else I want you to be. I said, I want you to be kind. I want you to be nice to people, be kind to people. I said, you could be anything in the world. I said, but also be kind, be humble when you talk to people. And I said, and it's something that you can, it doesn't require any special gift. It's not something sometimes you might have to work at it, but for the most part, being kind is a choice.
Right.
And you don't have to agree with everybody, but don't be mean if it's something that you don't agree with. And I said, sometimes bullies don't understand this and they don't take that advice going through because maybe they didn't learn how to be kind.
Yeah.
Maybe people weren't kind to them. I said, but you strive to be kind. And I said, in doing so, the world will be a better place going through. And so, a lot of times I think we as martial artists, because we martial artists, in my opinion, are a rare breed because we get joy out of hitting each other and especially doing it with weapons. And it's like, hey, I got knocked out or choked out. That was awesome. Here, watch this. And then you pop them and then you guys go out for a beer later and what have you. So I think martial artists are probably a little bit psycho. I mean, but
we've got some screws loose.
Yes, we do. And we get more knocked out every day. But Jack told me this. He said, some of the best people that he's seen are martial artists, but I was talking to his son, Davey, today.
Okay.
Who is the head of our system and our head grandmaster and an amazing young man. He really is. And we were talking today, as a matter of fact, at Young's event during a break. And I said, he said, could you imagine what it would be like if all the martial artists would, instead of try to tear each other down, would come together to help promote each other
Mm-hmm.
instead of saying what you do sucks and what this person does is great, or I'm better than you, or what have you. Put ego aside and come together to learn and trade and share ideas where we would be at, what we could achieve, what we could do.
Absolutely.
And if you could wrap your mind around that concept, man, it's just mind blowing. I mean, you talk about seminars, man. You go to a seminar, good Lord. I think about everybody coming together from different, and then you guys are working through. You might not agree on stuff, but it's like, all right, cool. I'm going to support this person going in. This is a way that I would do this technique. This is because now you have different aspects of it. You can see it from different angles. Instead of looking at it one way, is it half full, half empty? Okay. Is it the glass? How does the water feel inside the glass? You know what I'm saying? So it depends on how different ways you look at it.
Yeah.
And so, but that was something we had. And I said, yeah, it'd be a really amazing thing.
Yeah. So, I foresee that we will get there someday.
Yeah.
When it will, I don't know. I think the concept, and I love Corn's concept of friends in the arts. I mean, of
Absolutely.
course, nobody could come up, nobody can come over from Europe, but that everybody, we're just one big family. We just wear different patches.
That's right.
And
we're all part of the human race.
Exactly. And you talked about Jim. I'd only ever seen Jim, and he had actually said that he had to go, so he's not watching this, but if he rewatches it, he'll see it. So when I first met Jim, I was doing episode 100, my knockout episode, because I wanted to interview different instructors and talk about knockouts, their experiences, how they see it. And so, I reached out to all the big guys. I ended up, I interviewed, Michael Patrick from Dragon Society. Cool. I talked to Davey. He did an interview with me. Chris Thomas,
nice.
Chris Thomas did one. Dillman didn't, but I understood because of the whole National Geographic thing. So Dillman actually passed my email on to Tom and was like,
here, you do this.
And was like, yeah, he's like, can you do this? And can you explain why? And, he was like, oh yeah. I totally, yeah. So I totally understood. So I got to talk, and then when it came to Corn, he was sharing my episodes on Facebook.
Wow. And
I was like, and it's funny because talking to Chris Thomas, he was up front. He says, look, I don't watch your stuff all the time. He says, but when I watch your stuff, I watch long enough to know that you've got it. Right. And then I don't really need to see in it any. He says, so I do watch your stuff, but I don't like watch your stuff. And I was like, that was a huge honor. And so for me, of somebody of Corn's caliber sharing my stuff, that was huge, a huge honor. So when I reached out to him, it's like, okay, he's sharing my stuff. Maybe I can get him to do this interview. And he had said, we were chatting through message, and I told him, I said, we can do it on Facebook or, whatever. It was a couple of years ago. So and Zoom was around, but I didn't know Zoom. And he's like, yeah, he says, all those words you just said, I don't know what that is. He says, I'm having a seminar. Come out for the seminar. I'll let you teach, and I'll put you up in my cabin. And I'm like, he says, you just got to pay for the plane ticket. I've got you from there. And I'm like, I'm nobody.
Yeah.
Like I'm just some random dude.
That's the way I feel, man. I'm nobody
that has
special.
Been around for a while, but I'm like, this is Jim Corn. Like, oh my gosh. And he's inviting me to his thing. And so I go out there and had a great time. I love Jim.
Nice.
I love Jim. And it was sad that I couldn't go out there for a couple years, but I made it out there in April. I'm going back out there in September. So shameless plug, September 24th, 25th, 26th, Corn is having his autumn camp. I'm actually doing a modular knife clinic Friday night.
Congratulations on that, by the way, buddy. That's awesome that you got the
Inheritor. Yeah. It was not a shock when he, of course, because we talked about it prior, but the whole thing was he was going to announce it at his birthday camp.
Very well.
Yeah, and that too is a huge honor, and I believe I have what it takes to continue on. So,
there's no doubt.
I just hope that there aren't any detractors, and you know what? Any detractors, they can go pound sand. So.
Absolutely.
But it was so awesome, Jim, just a really friendly guy, and it's having the guts to reach out to these people and talk to them. I may identify as an asshole sometimes, but I'm actually a really nice guy. So reach out.
You get to know me. I'm just like a big bear.
Yeah. Well, and that's kind of how I describe Jim. He's just a big bear, and I love him to death.
He's great people, and like I said, he was one of the ones that we would watch. And there's another one that I'd be remiss if I didn't mention him as well, and that's Lynn Carper, which Clay mentioned him in his interview, and he was one that I would always go up and ask questions to. And now I was like, hey, what do we think of this and this? And then he'd show something, and I'd run off and go through, and we kind of joke about it now. He said, man, you were a damn pest going through. But the thing was, I wanted the knowledge.
Right.
I wanted the knowledge, and I would do whatever it takes to get the knowledge. And if it meant bugging them and getting knocked out, it meant bugging them, getting knocked out. But I had the knowledge, and now I'm able to pass it on. And that's the thing, man. And so going through, I mean, I try to help as many people as I can with this stuff because it was given to me. And, and I'm saying I've always get it right. I mean, I've been brash times before in the past, but I've always done my best to try to help people if I can help them. And, any way that I can. I don't always get it right. I'm going to say, if I don't know something, I will try to find it for you.
Absolutely.
And I think that's what we have to do as instructors and keepers of the art, is to pass it on and to help each other grow, help build each other up, help build your brothers and sisters up in the arts. You don't have to always agree with them. A lot of family members don't always agree with each other and families, but in the end, we're all going for the same goal, and we're all part of the same tribe, same family.
Yeah.
What have you.
Now I know the HKI camp is happening like 2 weeks after Corn's camp. Are you going to be able to make it out to, had you even had plans to make it out to Corn's camp this year?
I cannot make it this year.
Okay.
He has invited me in the past as well. I cannot make it this year. I've got 3 seminars in October. I've got shameless plug for the Shirite Bujukai.
Absolutely.
Which is Troy Price's camp, and the first weekend in October. And Fort Mill, South Carolina, I'll be at that one. Then I'll be at our HKI camp the weekend after in October. And then I'm also hosting Kyoshi Lee Richards, which was one of Oyata Sensei's black belts. He's actually coming to our camp. He's making his way down, and we're going to do some training. And so I said, hey, you want to do a little thing? So we're going to be doing a seminar at my dojo the following weekend. So I got 3 seminars back to back, plus others in the beginning. So, but I'm hoping to put it on next year's books to definitely be there for that.
Sweet. Yeah. I'm still up in the air about coming out to the HKI thing. I have a place to stay.
We're trying to make it happen. We're trying to make it happen for you to be there. I'm just going to throw that out there. So if you don't, we're going to have to just drive or fly wherever you're at and come kidnap you and take you there. So I'm just going to leave that there. Take it as you will. It's just a kind, friendly warning that, if you don't show up, people are going to come find you.
That's awesome. No, I am seriously considering it. I did find some different ticket prices. I had to buy a new truck. I had to buy a new vehicle. It ended up being a truck. So that of course, figures into it, but I'm not against the idea of still coming out. I think all of you who have reached out to me and, given me different ideas, like if I fly into if I can't fly into Jacksonville, I can fly into Orlando. I'm picked up and we're driving.
Yeah.
Even TJ was like, fly into Nashville. I'm driving.
if you can get to Florida somehow, we can get you. I mean, I've driven as far as Delray Beach before.
Yeah.
So yeah, we can get you here, man. We can.
Yeah.
Yeah. If we got to pass you along the way to get you in to make it happen, you just let us know. I mean, we can pool our resources together going in. So I wanted to let you know about another seminar coming through.
Yeah.
I talked to Chris Chu,
Okay.
Bruce Chu's son, and he is hosting his dad and Ray Dionaldo. So that's going to be a good seminar coming up. And I had the date and it just slipped my mind. Oh man, what is it? It's coming up. I can send you information on that to get going through, because I had it and it just part of the thing about taking too many shots to the head.
Yeah.
I think it's the second weekend or it might be the third weekend coming up in August. I have to get the exact dates and get to you, but It's going to be really awesome. And he's somebody else too, man. If you get a chance to reach out to, he would be an awesome one to do an interview with, man. Bruce.
Yeah.
Quick story. Bruce was responsible for me getting back into teaching after Jack died.
Oh.
Because when Jack died, it was really hard. And then my buddy Mike Andrews, who was like my brother in martial arts, phenomenal martial artist, and is responsible for how I look at kata. He passed away shortly after Jack did, almost back to back.
Oh, wow.
And I told my wife, I says, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. And I reached out to Bruce. It hurt so bad. I reached out to Bruce and I said, how did you get through it when Remy died? And he said, thank you for, he didn't see, and he talked to me, and he's the one that's responsible for me getting back into teaching. And I have the most love. Thank you. Thanks, Rob. Yeah. August 14th and 15th. I knew it was about the second or third week in August. Yeah. So August 14th and 15th, Ray Dionaldo and Bruce Chu in Tarpon Springs. So be there if you can, for your listeners and people watching. But yeah, Bruce has been responsible for me learning our niece. Because like I said, Remy scared the hell out of me when he did with those sticks. And Professor told him one day, he said, he looked at me and says, how come you don't do the art? And I said, well, I do, but it's really hard. And Bruce is taping his wrist, listening. And he said, Bruce, you help him to understand. And he said, yes, sir. And I told Professor, I says, I will learn and I will do. And shortly after that, he died.
Yeah.
And Bruce Lake said, welcome to our niece, and taping his wrist. And the first seminar after that, man, I mean, it was amazing. And Bruce has been an awesome mentor to me as well. Everybody in our niece family. So yeah, man, I've been, Mitch, I've been really blessed with the people I've met and trained with, my brothers in the arts and sisters in the arts. Everybody that I've trained with and met, and, friends and stuff, man, I've been very blessed more than I deserve. I'll put it that way.
Awesome. So on that note, because I know we are on a time constraint, we're at an hour and 12 minutes and we got like 3 minutes left. Oh, now 2. Really quick. Thank you for coming on. And for those people who are watching this and are like, oh, I'm in Jacksonville and I don't know who this guy is. How do people get a hold of you?
So you can look up CMAI Karate online, or Carter's Martial Arts Institute. We're on Facebook, CMAI Karate. We're also on YouTube, CMAI Karate. And you can find us there. We're at 8029 Ramona Boulevard West in Jacksonville, Florida. Just give us a call, look us up, and we'd love to have you come train with us, come kick it with us. We're open 5 days a week. We got kids class, adults classes, everything from Kyusho to Rukyu Kempo to Arnis to small circle jiu-jitsu and anything in between. And we have a good time. So thank you, brother, for doing this and for allowing me to be part of it, man. It's really awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome talking to you. Awesome talking to you.
Absolutely, man. And I'm gonna sign out on one thing, man. As we have to do, live long and prosper, bro.
Yeah. Oh, so before the chat, I know we got like a minute, 50 seconds.
No worries.
So we were showing off my little collection here. I have a much bigger Hallmark Star Trek Starship collection.
Oh, cool.
Okay. So these are just the small ones. but this is my, not Star Trek related, but my biggest little toy. This, I'm a huge Battlestar Galactica fan as well.
Oh, really?
This.
Whoa.
Yeah. Okay, dude. Okay. Let's just put it up against the Enterprise. Let's see.
Wow.
We'll kind of pull it back. Well, we'll put it back here so you can kind of get size difference.
Holy smokes, dude.
Huge. Like I got usually these comes in little boxes.
Yeah.
This thing came in a huge box, and I'm like, if it's a huge box, it's a huge. I had no idea.
Wow.
Like the money I spent on it, I was like, okay, well, I really want it, but it is worth every penny. So.
Oh, absolutely, man. That's awesome, dude.
So anyway,
that's awesome.
Yeah, Katie Sackhoff, and I know that you're listening. She's kind of my movie sweetheart.
Nice.
Her parents actually live in the area, so she visits regularly, but she never comes to Vancouver. Not me.
I was about to say.
Not me. My wife would kill me.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway. So we're over time. Jared, thank you so much.
Thank you, buddy. It's awesome.
Or Jerald, I'm sorry. That's my mistake. Thank you so much for being on here. It was a great talk. We'll have to have you on again.
Please, man, I'd be honored, buddy.
For all of you guys that have tuned in, thank you so much. If you have share this, like, subscribe if you haven't, do all those really cool internet things, and be safe. Train hard.
Take care.